But yeah, he's going up against an absolute legend. So why don't you take it away, Lord BeoMulf?
My pleasure. And here we are spawning the upper left in the red, representing Alpha X. Give it up for the Ender of Days, Ragnarok.
And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is the machine to break through the wall. He is innovation. And, you know, I was just thinking about it. Ragnarok is actually pretty similar to your username, Beo. You know, same culture up there in that Norse mythology, that kind of Valheim situation.
Well, it's
so that is pretty funny.
It's pretty funny, actually, if you talk about this. Ragnarok, or Beowulf, actually, was a work written in Middle English by Saxons, or by Englishmen, right? So even yes, it does talk about the Danes. Beowulf was a great king of the Danes, theoretically. It actually doesn't really go on into the same mythology because it doesn't really tap on in to Norse mythology and what we're used to. Instead, it's kind of the middle centuries Englishman's idea of Norse mythology. So it's a lot of British mythology applied to a Danish story.
True. That is certainly there. It's just kind of funny to think about there. But yeah, I mean, when we talk about Ragnarok, he certainly is the ender of dreams in a lot of situations. He looks very powerful in a lot of different places. And did he actually go for a spawning pool first here? It's hard to tell.
No, he absolutely did. As we do have, it's only going to be 4 Zerglings here, not 6. And the drone scout's still coming on out, making sure that he's... Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah, that's just a quick third base, despite it being pull first. So I like this here. It does mean... But actually, never mind. I'm sorry. Oh, this is... What?
Wait,
no,
what?
This was a 15 pool. Okay, there we go. I'm like, well, these timings don't make sense for a 12 pool or a 15 hatch. Or 16 hatch. But yeah, okay, this is going to be a 15 pool. Spent too much time talking about Ragnarok's mythology and not enough about the game itself. But there we go. So it's pool first, but it's a defensive pool first, as Innovation is known for his ability to go proxy racks if he thinks his opponent is vulnerable to it. And sometimes he'll even fake it. I mean, I'm thinking of the game against Raynor on Zen late last year, earlier this year. I think it was in TSL, where he fakes that he's going for a bunker rush and then he doesn't, and Raynor pulls a bunch of probes to deal, or a bunch of drones to deal with it, and he dies because he just loses too much mining time.
Okay, that does make a lot of sense here. Innovation as well does have that third CC up, so kind of the complete opposite of a bunker rush here. But you know, Ragnarok does stay safe, and that's kind of the power of the 15 pool that you were kind of mentioning. And honestly, the thing about it is it didn't really cost him that much. He's up 5 workers. He is running up quite heavily because he doesn't really need to defend any sort of early pressure until these Hellions start to come in. And even then, you just drop down 8 lings, don't get surrounded, and you're good to go. But yeah, this is... I'm kind of wondering what Innovation's going to be going for, because he does get the Viking, but I don't see a fusion core on that tech lab.
Well, you're never going to have a fusion core on a tech lab, because a tech lab is an add-on, and you can't, add on to an add-on. Although that'd be interesting. Like, in the campaign, you can get tech lab reactors. I think.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's in the campaign. I don't know. It's been a long time since I played the campaign. Yeah, imagine if you could get that one. Get a fusion core and then attach a fusion core to a tech lab, so you can get tech lab reactors and then reactor out banshees. That is the thing nightmares are made of as a Zerg player. But we do have Innovation here. He's just scouting around, trying to see what damage he can get done with these 6 Hellions. It's not 8, so he's not going to commit to it too hard. But he does not want to dive on into there with the Zerglings and the Queens all ready to defend. So yeah, this is going to be a Viking into Banshee. And that shouldn't really surprise anyone. Hellion Banshee has really kind of entered the zeitgeist, or the Terran zeitgeist, is one of the default builds. It used to be that Hellion Banshee was very much a aggressive opener, right? And the Terran player wanted to get something done, wanted to get a decent amount of damage done with it. And if the Zerg didn't take any damage, it was totally fine. It was kind of like this funky all-in, not all-in, but certainly a pressure build that we would see Terrans throw together back in Heart of the Swarm. But now it's kind of just standard, and it doesn't really get all that much damage done because Zergs have realized, A, they have more time to build queens in the context without, I should say, with how the builds work on out now. But B, they just kind of realized how to defend it. So it gets like 2 or 3 drones generally, something like that, and that tends to be the end of things.
Yeah, it looks like the Banshee does get in there, gets those 3 worker kills. Will have to retreat for now. They have a nice little concave. One thing I like about what Innovation has right now is the fact that he's not diving in at any point. He's keeping these Hellions alive, because what we've seen is a lot of Terran players as well just try and hit that really crisp timing with +1 upgrades finishing, because the armory usually goes down in time as well. So you have about 2 to 3 siege tanks, plenty of Hellbats in the front to soak up those Baneling connections, and you know, RAGNAROK showing how different he is from Solar. He's going for the Hydra.
Well, it's funny you say different from Solar, but Solar is probably one of the biggest proponents of Hydraling Bane in the Korean ZVT meta right now. Because, of course, he invented Hydraling Bane against Protoss. He's a big fan of it in every matchup. And he is more of a Western Zerg than a lot of Korean Zergs, right? He was part of the Western Zerg of the, I think it was the NA Zerg Cabal, that Skype group, back in 2015, 2016. His English is always known to be very good, but he has been one of those players that has never shied from taking good ideas from other regions if they do present themselves, which is not something which you might say would be pretty obvious, but...
Oh my goodness. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but RAGNAROK is going to find this army down here, so a lot of a moot point. But we do have a bunch of Hellbats up there in the natural. The Hydra's going to do what they can to clean this up. This was about to be a really good 1-2 punch, but now RAGNAROK will be able to clean this up a lot easier than I thought he would.
Yep, RAGNAROK going on there, in there, making Innovation say Rot-Row, Raggy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's absolutely not going to work out. Innovation's push on the left-hand side was smashed. The Hellbats also smashed, and not in a fun way either. No Friday night parties for Innovation here. Although I guess the qualifier was on a Monday night, and in order to earn your soju, you got to actually win the series, which not looking all that great for Innovation right now. Every aggressive attempt that he has tried in this game has been smacked aside, or at the very least, gently shooed away.
Yeah, now we see the supplies relatively even. Innovation able to get up to about 70 and stay within a base, which is where you kind of want to be as a Terran player here. But we do see him coming out here, getting a little bit of the creep, trying to trade out a little bit before backing on out. And we, you know, I'm keeping an eye on that drop in the top right as RAGNAROK going to be coming in and getting a snipe on that CC at the 4th. Oh my goodness,
he's going to get
spending a lot to this. No, he doesn't.
But he does force the lift, and it's getting very low. But now we have Innovation. He's going to stem on top of the Infestation Pit, and that is massive. No hive here for RAGNAROK, which means no good lurkers. And that's going to slow everything down a good bit. RAGNAROK doing a pretty good job of being defensive, of not taking all that much damage from really anything, which means he would have been able to afford Hive 3-3 pretty much right when it's ready. But if you don't have the tech, you don't have the tech.
This Viking is so annoying for RAGNAROK, because even though it's not going to supply block him, that's like 200, 300, 400 minerals that you got to put
Try
back
600.
into the
It has
Overlords.
6 kills, Passer.
Oh my goodness. That is that's hilarious, because RAGNAROK doesn't have the Queens in position either, because he's respreading the creep. We do see a small run by as well, but Innovation, he's looking very poised to, at the very least, snipe this base. There's not really that much here.
I mean, that looks like a lot to me.
Only about 28 Banes.
That looks like a fairly decent amount to me here, but RAGNAROK will have to set up a flank of some sort.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like, there's not that much in terms of one way to attack into it. The Banelings not being effective right now either, so the Hydras have to back on out. Yeah, that's a pretty easy snipe.
That base will go down, but those Bailey connections on the far side and the tank friendly fire. While RAGNAROK, he's not going to get any eco damage. He was able to actually do a really good job and knock down a good portion of Innovation's rally, but this is what I'm worried about. As you did say, yeah, you got a decent amount of army there, but if you don't get the flank, you don't get the good engagement. Trying to attack headlong into siege tanks, maybe not the best thing here, as Banelings are going to come rolling on in, and most of them, they're going to hit the tanks. So now the rest of the Banelings here, they are stuck behind these Hydra, but it looks like for now, RAGNAROK will be able to fight Innovation back, even as he does lose a lot, even as he does lose his third base, or I guess this was his fourth. But you know what? He does have another fourth base up. He has his fifth base on the way. Not the end of the world here for RAGNAROK, but certainly the apocalypse
not pleasant.
It's not pleasant. The apocalypse is a little bit less powerful than people told me.
Oh, definitely. And we still see Innovation starting to go up in terms of that unit count here. He's 119 to 80. I hate to go a little bit French here, but look at the supply. Up 50 supply here. He will be able to deflect this with the Hydralisk. Not going to get the last shot off, though. So Innovation just doing a really good job of keeping this army alive, trading out super efficiently. And even though RAGNAROK has that hive, guess what he's doing with it? Almost nothing, just upgrades.
Well, upgrades are not nothing, but it's interesting here that we don't see Lurker Tech on the way, especially considering I think this is only one.
He can't afford it.
I mean, yeah, but you need something, right? Ling Bane Hydra against late game Terran doesn't feel all the greatest here. As now, oh no, RAGNAROK, he's got to take this fight right now. He's gonna lose that base if he doesn't. And the Vipers aren't ready yet, but now we have Blinding Clouds on in, but that's not going to be a good enough fight here. 30, 40 army supply in arrears, and now Innovation, he's going to stay on top of all these Hydras. Hydras cannot afford to die. That is the linchpin of your defense, and it looks like RAGNAROK, for the time being, will be able to defend, but Innovation, he's going to get the base as it finishes, so that's going to be a kill, not a cancel. And Innovation now, he is looking damn good here in this game number one.
You know what the funniest thing to look at is that units lost tab, because we see all these engagements and we're probably thinking, oh hey, we have a lovely man playing in the red trunks up here in the top right position for Alpha X. Give it up for RAGNAROK.
And his opponent in the bottom left, in the blue, he is, of course, one of the aces, one of the many aces for Kaitse Gaming. The man, the myth, the machine, he is Innovation. And you know what's kind of funny? Talking about game of the year, I did the Into the Alpha X Ignition Pro Series. I did the entirety of it, but yesterday was the grand finals, so it semifinals and finals. So it was Bunny versus Solar, and then Innovation versus Beyond. Winner plays winner. And game number one of Innovation versus Beyond was perhaps the greatest TVT I've ever seen. I mean, hard to solo cast, right? Because there were long doldrums when it was just positioning, but it was an hour-long TVT where both players mined out every single bit of gas on the map and spent every single bit of gas on the map. So you're here, and Beyond has like 60 Vikings. And Innovation has 43, but Innovation has more Ravens. And then at some point, they both have like 6k mineral banks, but no gas. So at a certain point, they have to go back into Marine play later on like, and it's like 199 supply of Marines, right? Because they're on 1 and 7 SCVs respectively. And then, you know,
oh my God,
Beyond wins the fight, right? And you're like, okay, it's got to be GG, but Innovation has a couple of planetaries, and he has Neil Steel plating. So Innovation doesn't leave the game because he's like, look, I don't know if you can kill my planetaries without losing enough of your army that it's gonna stalemate. At the very least, losing all your Vikings that then mean that I could just lift a base and force a draw. So, you know, he had to kill all the planetaries. Then Innovation GG'd. It was a crazy game.
I don't doubt it. And you know, I mean, speaking about crazy game, I think the craziest games we've ever had have all been kind of this TVZ situation, because one, you know, we've had like Pult versus it wasn't Violet, it was Hydra in the grand finals in 2015, 14, I believe. We've had pretty much almost anything that innovation plays in that is worth over 10 grand. And then just like all these super exciting, super fun series, because it's so back and forth. It is so action packed. There's not really a lot of downtime. And right now we kind of see that there's a little bit of a lull in the action. The Reaper kind of just getting around, getting 1 kill so far. But this is allowing Ragnarok to drone up super heavily.
Okay, so Pastor, I'm sorry. You mentioned the greatest games ever, and you say most of them have been ZVTs, and then you fail to mention Scarlet Bomber Game 3 on Red Bull Battlegrounds, which is the greatest game of all time.
Yes, and do you know why? It's because I have no memory of that game until it is brought up in conversation.
Pastor, I could not be more okay, so you think limes are spicy. You don't remember the greatest game of all time. And you live in Florida.
It's all the spicy limes.
I blame Florida, I guess. Like, I don't even know. You're spending too much time in the air, and I guess you get your head in the clouds. But oh, by the way, congrats on getting that professional pilot. I know it's been a bit, but congrats on the professional pilot's license.
No, thank you. I still can't use it to work though.
Yeah, because you need what, like tons and tons and tons of flight hours?
Yeah, I do. And you know what? Speaking of flight hours, this Viking is definitely starting to rack them up. We saw in the last game that hero Viking getting about 6 kills, and this guy, you know what? He idolized him because he's already got 1 and going straight for the main base to get some more. I mean, you know, he's gonna do his best, but this time, unfortunately, it looks like there is a big mama queen to defend her babies.
Well, 1 baby was not defended, so that's gonna be 2 overlords. 200 minerals there is gonna be the price, and considering a Viking's what, 125 minerals? I don't play Terran, but anyway, that's gonna be a positive trade there, even if we do take into account, well, things like build order time and opportunity cost, right? So getting that Viking means you're not getting a Banshee, means you're not getting a medevac, something like that, but two overlords do pay for that. And now we do have a lair on the way once again. Actually, never mind. That was a different series. But Ragnarok, he's going for the single Evo approach, getting Carapace on in. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. One Ling did find the wall was not complete, but then just got shanked. As we do see innovation going to be coming in here with a ton of these Hellions. Doesn't want to dive on top because Ragnarok is getting a pretty good position here. Going a little bit far forward, but yeah, he's going to get home with the Hellions. His +1 is about to complete on both sides, so the armory should be coming up soon as well. And he's clearing up some creep in this very important, I want to say, position, because if you clear up the creep right there, then you open yourself up for the most beautiful siege tank position I have seen in the last 20 seconds.
Well, that's impressive, Pastor, because we haven't seen any siege tank position in the last 20 seconds because there are no siege tanks on the map, or at least on the other side of the map. Or on solar side of the map, not yet. So I don't know what you're doing, Pastor, but I want some of it.
I'm like a goldfish. I have a 20-second memory, and they're all play related. Like I forget every single play until the next one.
Sounds about right. But the benefit here of, by the way, of Ragnarok going for Carapace first and then delaying his +1 does mean that he will have bailing speed in time to deal with his push. So bailing speed is done now. Carapace is done in 5 seconds. And yes, +1 is not timed up with the Terran, but bailing speed does mean that this, oh, there we go. That's going to be a fantastic connection indeed. We do have a run by coming on in as well. 10 workers go down, and oh, we're going to lose a tank as well. Innovation, he's taking some heinous damage here in this game early on in the push. At least the Hellions are going to be forced on back.
Yeah, that takes a lot of pressure off here, and we could kind of see innovation forced into that defensive siege up location there on that ramp. So that's going to be completely slowed down. Ragnarok as well, just sitting that huge Zergling wall to the other side. Going to get a couple of additional pickoffs here. Got to be careful not to overextend with that, because if you do, then you know you're just not going to have enough for the defense. And now, honestly, the one thing I'm worried about for Ragnarok is while he is going for just one Carapace for +2, he's going to fall behind heavily in terms of those upgrades.
Yeah, but again, Carapace is what truly matters here in ZVT because A, you want your Banelings to connect, so you need the extra damage there, or the extra health there. But B, I mean, Banelings are spell damage. So yes, they do get additional damage. Nice Baneling connections here. Everything's going to go down. Nice splits there from Innovation, but with the Queens here and the Marines, yeah, Innovation's going to be forced on back. Yes, the Banelings do get additional damage from upgrades, but they are spell damage. So it's not like you're all that worried. They just become more effective over time, but it's not like they become less effective when fighting against additional Terran upgrades. So the Carapace is by far the most important thing, and we do have attack on the way as well as Ragnarok. He's getting on into his hive.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very early hive here. And that's kind of the power of just going pure Ling Bane. You have all that additional gas in order to kind of do that safely. So he's not going to be really fall behind in terms of any upgrades. He's going to be able to take some efficient fights where a lot of the time we will see the Terran player do a little bit better for a bit while Hive is on the way. But yeah, right now, honestly, I think Innovation is a little bit behind in terms of his production. He's only on 5 racks at this point, only just now adding that additional factory. So even though he has been doing good to stay out on the map, it's just a little bit hard to keep up that momentum without that additional production.
Yeah, absolutely. And there we go. Hive is done. Ragnarok probably going to go for Ultras here. I don't think this is a Lurker play just because, I mean, we don't see a Lurker Den already done. And Innovation right here, he's like, okay, look, my full frontal attack has not really been working on out. So I'm going to start dropping here. But with spores everywhere, it's not really going to be all that impactful. And this is actually something that we've started to see Zerg players do more and more often, right? Where they do go for significant... Oh, look at that infestation bit's going to get taken down. That's going to be nice there for Inno. I mean, or for Innovation. Not that Ragnarok really cares all that much. It's not like he's going for infestors or anything like that. It's just you need the infestation pit to get the hive, and now he does have the hive, so no big deal there.
I was gonna make a Marvel reference, but I totally forgot it. But anyway, yeah, with the spore crawlers there, these drops, while they are a little bit annoying, they're going to start to get diminishing returns for Innovation. So it would be a little bit better to kind of just maybe keep them out there, maybe just force Ragnarok to stay at home to defend a little bit while you do kind of tech up, get those additional Marauders in there. But you know what? We still don't see any Ultra Den. It's just still Lings.
Yeah, this may just be Ling Bane Viper, right? That is a valid composition. It doesn't necessarily well, actually, oh, this is nice. Not that Ling's gonna get the medevac. And what it doesn't necessarily have has quite as much of an oomph, right? Ultras are fantastic meat shields. Of course, the damage is always going to be Ling Bane, but Ultras do a fantastic job of forcing a Terran to micro, which is the big deal. But okay, there we go. Ultra's on the Ultra Cavern is now on the way. Spire's on the way. Ragnarok just a little bit slow to it, making sure that he is perfectly safe, making sure that he has everything he wants before he starts putting down all that tech, spending all that gas on things that he's not going to immediately be able to use.
Indeed. Now we do see that Ultralisk Den coming down, as well as the Spire just opening up a world of possibilities here. Ragnarok just slowly pushing that creep forward, always just teetering on the edge with these Lings. It's always kind of funny when they try and put them in the corner like that, just keeping them all there in case of the drops, as Innovation going to be coming in. A little bit more damage, but now Ragnarok has this little bit of an opportunity here to try and get in there and do a little bit of a run by.
Yep. Now tell me, Pastor, is it a whole new world? Is it a million things you've never seen, or is it just a new paradigm? As we do have Ragnarok here, he's going to be able to push Innovation back, but Innovation has been able to establish his 4th base. He has his 5th base. Ragnarok has every base that he can realistically be expected to take on the map here. Neither player is really in a good position to break the other.
And this is kind of the thing. Innovation starting to do exactly what we tell every single Terran player on ladder to do. He's starting to play like Maru trading out some of these Marines just so that he can get the ghosts up and operational, getting that siege tank wall just to keep himself completely turtled up on fortified bases, while also sort of just kind of pushing out and trading out for the Ling. For the Lings and the Banes, even going to get a lot of that creep that was trying to spread here. But Ragnarok has to be careful at this point, because this is going to be an almost unbreakable position for Innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? You're talking about playing like Maru. I'm pretty sure Innovation is not playing like Maru because he's not getting smacked by roaches. So, you know.
Well, there's no like deadly nuke either, so definitely not Maru just yet. But you know what? He's getting there. You know, he's watched all the VODs. I mean, he was pretty much Maru before Maru was Maru. You know,
nah,
at least I think so.
I mean, Innovation always is. He's one of the greatest GSL players, right? He has, I think, two GSL championships to his name. Certainly a fantastic player, and honestly, probably should have 3 if not getting reverse swept by Sulky. Sorry, spoiler alert. First GSL of Heart of the Swarm. If you haven't seen that, well, it's been 6 years, so. But yeah, before getting reverse swept by Sulky, he probably should have 3 GSLs. He was the most dominant player then. But Innovation is kind of he's kind of a streaky player, right? Because there are times when he is probably the best player in the world, and no one can say otherwise. And then there are times when he's like, oh wow, Innovation, are you like a round of 32 player? Like, what are you doing? That being said, he does appear to be on a greater form rather recently. He is in the top 10 of Eligulac for the first time in a little bit, and well, you know what, he's looking good in this game. And you talk about Innovation being the original Maru or something like that, that's not really fair, because Maru and Innovation, they get their wins, they get their victories off of very different things, right? Maru at the end of the day, right, he's a micro player. He's fantastic at multitasking, all that fun stuff. Innovation, he's just going to out-muscle you, right? He has these incredible mechanics that he's just going to do. And look at this, the base will go down here from Innovation, but he's got to push on the other side of the map too. But as long as Ragnarok can deny that bottom right base, and more importantly, even if he's able to mine from that bottom right base, even if it's long distance mining, that is going to be fantastic there for Ragnarok. But look at that Innovation. He's going to get a snipe on the nth base. What is that? The third base? No, on the 4th base, right? Yeah, that's the 4th base.
I think that's either the 3rd or 4th. You're right on that. The Corruptors as well going to find a little bit of damage here. Don't really get too many kills. Got to be careful as well for the snipes coming on in. But you know what? You say that Innovation is a streaky player. I definitely do agree with that. I think that can be said about a lot of the players, though, because we did have. Big spoiler alert, if you haven't watched GSL Season 1, skip to like 32 in the video or something. But Rogue just won the GSL Season 1, and he was able to, you know, do really well with it, crushing through Maru. But now next season, he's going to go out in like the round of 32 or something, as we see that first nuke falling. But when it comes down to it, these little bits of slumps, they never really last too long for these players.
Well, I mean, SOS has looked pretty bad for about a year and a half now, so never really sure about that.
There's money.
Yeah,
there's money involved.
He was at BlizzCon, right? He was in these. He was at Katowice. He was at these high money tournaments, and it still didn't work out. But anyways, nuke will not go on down as Innovation's trying to make that happen. But all of these snipes, I think Innovation just sniped some banelings.
I mean, if you've got the extra supply, there you go, do it. He did get a couple of Vipers in there as well, which is pretty nice, because that's going to make the siege tank line a lot more now it comes down to the fact that we are not going to have a slow game anymore, even trying to bait Ragnarok in, but unfortunately not going to work, as the Ghost does go down. The second nuke in the top left going to help out immensely as well, but that will fall.
Oh, will it? Oh, okay.
Okay,
I thought I got the Ghost in time.
Yeah, he finds it at the very last second. Only loses about 4 drones there. Also, shout out to whoever put WCS Game Heart on this one.
Oh, God.
Good on my connection. Holy cow.
right, that was about probably 20 kills, and all of them banelings. Massive move there. Innovation will continue to just nuke on in on the left-hand side, and yeah, that one's gonna get taken out though. The creep is so developed here for Ragnarok that it's making Innovation's life so difficult. I mean, look at this. There's creep. There's a Zergling there, but there's also that creep that's just sitting under this bottom right command center. So that's looking pretty good here for Ragnarok, because again, if he's able to stay base up, base is about 16,000 resources. So as long as he stays below that 16,000 resource, my god, that is terrifying. Innovation, we got to be careful. With the corruptors and the parasitic bomb, that was the potential for a lot of dead bio. But no, Innovation will be able to fight this back. But he's only killing the creep. I don't think he's noticed this Zergling yet. He hasn't. Oh no.
I think he's at this point he must know that it's there, but he just can't afford to bank to use a scan down there. He needs to use it up here as the Widowmines gonna do what they can. That one not actually going up, but he's still gonna keep that denied, and that's the biggest thing. If we take a look at those banks, Innovation only has about 3,000 minerals. Ragnarok is up to about almost 5,000, and you know, every mineral is going to start counting here as these bases start to dwindle in terms of that supply. So, I mean, while Innovation does have that good defensive army, he can force Ragnarok to kind of dive in a lot of the places. He can get those efficient trades and kind of get rid of some of that bank. At the same time, you still need to kill something, and you need to do it like soon.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool here. We have Neural Parasite on the way, and a couple infestors have been made. I think the play here is you just neural the ghost and EMP the ghost so they can't do anything. And I'm really hoping we see that here. Now we do have a big flank coming on. Blinding Clouds from behind. Banelings, Zerglings coming from behind. It is a Zerg attacking into a full Sim City here, and that's going to be difficult indeed. But these Blinding Clouds are absolutely massive. And we need to see something getting on top of those ghosts. But at the end of the day here, Ragnarok with a massive bust. Innovation going down to half the army supply of his opponent. And Ragnarok has a bit more of a bank, so we're gonna have to see how that one works out. But I am surprised at how well that worked with how choked on in the Innovation was there with the extra command centers and everything. That was not an easy fight to take at all, but Ragnarok, he made it look easy.
Well, you know what the biggest problem for Innovation is as well. When you're going for this kind of strategy, you do need to continuously be remaking those siege tanks, because you just need to be defensive. At the end of the day, he's trying to go into Widowmines now. He's trying to go for a much more mobile army. I don't like that, to be completely honest here, because he is broke, and that mobile bio army just really it can be efficient, but you're also going to be trading it out, as we kind of see here, continuously having to pick up, continuously having to lift off. So you're not going to be able to get those good engagements that you might be able to. The fungal growth as well, just making it very difficult for Innovation.
That they are, but at the end of the day, right, you talk about mobility, you talk about forcing trades, but I mean, if you go mass Baneling, or you go mass Widowmine against this mass Baneling style, right, and you get a bunch of ghosts on top of that, well, first of all, ghosts are very good against Banelings, which is kind of funny, but there you go. But getting a bunch of Widowmines here, it makes it that much more difficult for Ragnarok to really take the fight that he wants, right? That's kind of the big deal there. It's decently hard to split Zergling, split Banelings off to make sure that you get what you need. And now the Widowmines are going to burrow on up. And Innovation, for the first time in a while, he's going to take an aggressive position here on the right-hand side of the map. He's starting to clear up some creep Widowmines. That is a terrifying minefield to attack on into. Ragnarok can't really attack on into it at once. But Innovation did such a good job of targeting those Banelings down that most of the Widowmines, they didn't even go off.
It looks like we have a little bit of a truce for just a second here in the bottom right, as both sides are going to be just trying to take as much from this mineral field as well. Kind of taking a look at it. It looks like there's not that many left on the field. Innovation is a little bit closer to losing those bases, so he will have to take this base very, very soon if he wants to stay in this, if he wants to go with this mobile army. Ghost as well, though, doing a pretty good job of getting rid of some of those observers, but now it's the Broodlord Infestor. We are back to Heart of the Swarm.
Oh, he got it!
He did exactly what you said, EMP!
He got it. Oh man, I didn't even see that infestor. What a play. I mean, yeah, there's still some energy on the ghost, but most of them, there's nothing there. And without the ghosts, you can't fight those broodlords. You cannot get the snipes that you need. They can't cloak. They can't do anything like that. So that does mean here that Ragnarok will be able to break this stranglehold from Innovation. What a move there from Ragnarok. That's so cool.
13 kills on that last Widow Mine. Like, it was looking so good. Ragnarok was doing a fantastic job of keeping those banelings away, but oh my god, he lost so many Banes right there. It may not seem like the biggest of deals as his Broodlords crushing through this position, but oh my goodness, Innovation is now being put into a terrible position. He needs to do something.
Oh god.
Oh god. What is this game? I'm gonna need an hour after this one.
Yeah, the game is certainly picking it up here. Innovation's losing some bases, kind of. He didn't even lose the base. He just lost the wall. Granted, he's not mining from this base anymore. It doesn't really matter. But Ragnarok has lost his bottom right, which he's rebuilding. And he's lost his upper left, which is honestly pretty close to mining up. But here's the thing. He just burrowed all his drones. He didn't really lose much there. So at the end of the day, there's not a lot of money here on the map for either player.
Yeah, he just got another EMP off, by the way. So a lot of those ghosts are now out of energy. The infestors as well still in position. So having to lift up that orbital command. Innovation down.
Look at that fungal
supply. He gets a beautiful fungal right there. And so many of those ghosts going down on the retreat. Innovation, guess what? He's broke. He went through his trust fund, and now, unfortunately, Daddy has cut him off.
Yeah, he's starting to lose production as well. Factories going down, orbitals going down, and you know, honestly, Innovation doesn't have the money that he needs to even repair his structures as they do start to burn. But neither does Ragnarok. Yeah, he's got 55 workers, but he couldn't even build his base on position because he forgot to unburrow the Zergling. It's a bit unfortunate there, but I think he kind of doesn't really expect to ever really be allowed. You said you didn't like the Widow Mines, Pastor. These Widow Mines have been like the one saving grace of Innovation.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Against Ragnarok, they're working because Ragnarok just has not been building, or hasn't been splitting his units as efficiently as he would like, and now both sides don't have a single base. I'm looking at Innovation. His mineral count hasn't actually dropped, or hasn't actually gone up in a long time. Only just now those mules being dropped in the top to get a little bit of a boost. I am actually speechless for this game right now because of how good it's getting.
He has absolutely no mineral patches here on his side of the map. I mean, I guess he does have the bottom right, but that is a place that is owned part and parcel by Ragnarok. But you got to remember, Innovation, his army is still rather good. It can always trade efficiently against a bunch of Lingbane, at least until the Ultras do a live, force him to pick up and leave. And Innovation, he's going to try to take this upper left-hand base, but it's mostly mined out. There's like maybe 2,000 minerals left here, but now, this nuke. But this high ground nuke has so much potential here. Ragnarok, okay, he's gonna pull off. I was gonna say, man, if Ragnarok eats that nuke, that is gonna be like his entire economy gone.
Yeah, I mean, that is 36 workers. There's only 39 on the field. Here we go as the Ghost getting another big snipe off, but they are going to be forced back by the Brood Lords. That is so many Ghosts. A couple of good snipes, and like Ragnarok has to be so careful right here. One fungal goes down, but he sacrifices the Infestor for it. Every single unit counts right now. Like every single one, and the Widow Mines starting to get cleaned up. EMPs all over the Infestors, so we will not be seeing any cancels on those snipes.
Absolutely, and you know, Innovation, that fungal though. If he can chain it here for the EMPs, they're gonna go on in, and that means the Infestors are done. Mainlys are gonna come rolling on in, but these splits are fantastic, and you gotta remember, this is a planetary that Innovation's fighting back on into. Yes, he doesn't really have the money to repair, but still it is a powerful force indeed. The Ultras will not be able to break this. Innovation, that supply gap, that supply deficit that he was in, it is shrinking by the minute. It's now only 20, it was 40. And with these snipes that he's getting off the Broodlords, the tech here of Ragnarok are ever slowly evaporating.
Yeah, it's coming down to just how many Broodlords does he have left? He's got one. Like, one to rule them all. And yeah, he's gonna try and fight into this planetary fortress. These are the days where I bet Ragnarok is missing infested Terrans, because that would have made it so much more easier. Gonna sacrifice a lot of his corruptors as well, unfortunately, just not paying attention right there.
Wait a minute.
Oh my goodness.
Passer, innovation. He has a bunch of ghosts, by the way, which is fine, but all the Ragnarok has are infestors. Sure, they're good. They don't do a ton of damage, though. He has Zerglings, which are terrible against ghosts. And he has a couple corruptors that are never going to turn into broodlords because Ragnarok is never going to have the money. So, yeah, Ragnarok's got a bigger army here, but Innovation has a far superior one. An Innovation who has been broke, who has not been mining for like the last couple of minutes. He's been able to bring the Ragnarok's. Oh man, that Scantu is going to get another couple infestors. He's been able to bring Ragnarok's bank, which was massively superior to his. He's been able to bring that down to 0 in the last minute just through these incredible trades that he's been making. Now that fungal will be nice, but the EMPs as well. The Zerglings are all dying. I mean, honestly, Innovation doesn't even care if the Banelings hit, because Banelings don't do well against ghosts, and ghosts do well against Banelings. And the Zerglings, they're running on in, but it's just a bunch of ghosts. That's not going to work out there. That's not going to work out here for Ragnarok at all.
Now, there is one thing that could happen for Ragnarok, and that is pretty much the only way that he's going to win it. He needs to chain one big fungal, because there are no medevacs on the field either. You can kind of see he's doing whatever he can to try and clean that up. But EMP going to save those ghosts. They are so low on health. Literally, if you look at them funny, they are going to fall on over. But for right now, it looks like that is going to be enough for Innovation to crush through this mineral line. There is no detection either, other than that spore crawler in the top. So if he wants to cloak up, I just don't see how Ragnarok comes back into this. These infestors as well going to go down. That's his army gone.
And there is nothing left here for Ragnarok. He has 8 workers. Innovation has 0 innovation. He's got a little bit of mining here, as he is ever so slowly muling here on the upper left-hand side, not even bothering to knock down the burrowed Zergling. And this base should get broken here for Ragnarok with his 8 workers. Zergling's going to look for the surround. They have the vision and the fungal, the infestor. All the ghosts go down. It's 10 army supply to 7. Innovation has 2 Widow Mines, a couple Marines. Ragnarok has a little bit more, but it's not much whatsoever. It all comes down to mining here. It all comes down to the economy. Neither player has anything left, not really. And Ragnarok is going to find the mules here on the upper left-hand side. He's going to be able to deny this mining. Innovation now. He has no money. Sure, he's at 600 a minute, but that is mainly because this base was mining. This actually commands, or this orbital command is just going to die now.
You know what? At this point, like, the worst that can happen is a draw. Because I don't think there's any corruptors left on the map. No, there's not. And I doubt he'll be able to get the money for it. So, you know, if neither player wins in the next minute or so, then I just don't see either be able to. Widow Mine's cleaning up some of these lings, though. I think I don't want to say that Innovation has done it fully, but I think now that he has that healing, now that he has these couple of Marines, unless we get the most beautiful fungal, it's just not going to be enough. There we go. He cleans up the rest of the base right here. And with that, even though he's getting forced back into he's getting forced back a little bit. The Baneling's going to force him away.
This is 8 army supply to 5, 32 minutes into this game. This is insane. Neither player is really mining. Ragnarok's just got a little, but he has 1 drone remaining. He has 24 minerals, so he's actually not going to be able to mine all that much for the rest of this game. Maybe he buys another drone. It comes down to individual units. What do you buy? What do you not buy? Look at that target fire. Baneling's going to get targeted down. And here's the thing, right? Because Innovation was able to afford a medevac. He has a personal healer. He has what he needs to make sure that this army is going to be infinitely efficient. Now, while we do have this, yeah, it's going to be a GG. Ragnarok doesn't have enough, and that's going to be it. What a game there.